So last week, Marvel announced the cast that are coming to Avengers Doomsday in 2026. They spent 5.5 hours announcing a cast of 27 people starring in Avengers Doomsday. The expected usual suspects are joined by a few surprises like former X-Men cast members like Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Alan Cumming, and Kelsey Grammer. And some people were still upset because they spent all this time and it was like every 20 minutes they moved from one chair to the next chair and then they eventually got to Robert Downey Jr. at the end. And it's very important for this movie to perform at the box office. I think what's going to help Marvel, turn things around is the Fantastic Four film has to be good this summer because it's tied to Doctor Doom. And if that movie flops, and you have those characters in the film, it's going to be a disaster. I think this is more like a nostalgia type of film, and they're trying to get those old fans back. The problem is, all of us have grown up. A lot of us back in like the 2000s eras were kids. Now we're adults. We got families and children. So it's hard to keep their interest or keep them up to date if busy with life and other things like that. And the interest might not be there anymore, and that's perfectly okay. But what's interesting right now about how people are responding, not just to the long, 5.5 hour cast reveal, was people complaining about the women and saying there's barely any girls in this, and asking this dumb question, from Rachel Leishman from the Mary Sue, barely any girls are allowed. And if you don't ask some deeper questions, why did that happen? Well, you look at She-Hulk, that was a disaster. You look at the Marvels, that was terrible. And the list goes on. So when you're pushing these feminist agendas and these woke ideologies on people, it's got a lot of pushback. It's not making Disney any money. So to say like, oh, women aren't allowed, that's not the case. And if you talk about Marvel just from a common sense perspective, or just take a step back, it's a boy brand. It's not geared towards just women. The main characters in Marvel that people love the most, these are just facts. Spider-Man's at the top of the list. Captain America, Wolverine, the Hulk, Iron Man, they're all male. Doesn't mean like Jean's a great character in the comics and in the films. Storm is, loved by people. But at the end of the day, the main, figures or faces of Marvel are male. Those are just facts. You look at Barbie, that's geared towards women, right? It's not going to be geared towards men. You look at the NBA and basketball, that's going to be marketed more towards men because men play in the NBA. So when you look at Marvel, it's more of a boy brand. Those are just facts. So to say like, oh, there's only 5 women in Marvel's Doomsday doesn't mean they're excluded, that they're not important. Marvel's probably realizing, or Disney has to say, maybe we shouldn't push these agendas because the financial results have not been good. You look at Phase 4 and Phase 5, it's been terrible. And the only films I liked from Phase 4 and Phase 5 was Spider-Man No Way Home, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Shang-Chi. Everything else is average or trash to me. That's just my opinion, and I'm sure others feel the same way. And as you're reading this article, it's so funny. She says here, one woman from X-Men, no Kara Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and America Chavez missing, no witches. I mean, the Scarlet Witch has already been announced that she won't be coming back for this film. You guys don't need your new Hawkeye? No, not interested. Do you see how upsetting this is for fans of the franchise and these characters? A huge team up, and we are back to a small portion of the cast being women, and that's it. What happened to those films? Oh, right. We got to Endgame and people were enjoying the journey. And when they flipped things, it didn't work. So what they really want here in this feminist movement is to have more representation of women than men. Like they would love to have an 80% cast of superhero women and 20% from men. That's their dream. They want more dominance. They want more attention. And the whole thing is idiotic to me. So Grace Randolph says, we'll discuss the Avengers Doomsday cast tomorrow, but I will say I really take issue with the lack of female characters, even with the X-Men. No She-Hulk, like why would you even put She-Hulk? Because that whole show was a travesty. It was a disaster. Nobody liked She-Hulk whatsoever. Jean Grey and Storm, I think they'll be there eventually, whether it's in Doomsday or Secret Wars. Captain Marvel, need we say more about that film and the choices they made? And it was just a complete mess. And Agatha, I don't even care about her. So again, Marvel is a boy brand. That's just how it works. Doesn't mean they're not going to put female characters. They're going to. As you can see here, what did women ever do to build Marvel Comics, Marvel Studios, or the MCU? Men don't owe you anything. You want women, build your own industry. It's just funny. I'm thankful they're going in a different direction. Stop being a dead horse, Grace. How does it feel to realize you've lost the culture war? Now you have to judge movies based on quality rather than checking boxes. And that's what we want. Instead of checking all these boxes saying, okay, we got to please a certain race, we got to, have certain representation, just tell a good story. Like Wonder Woman, the first film I thought was awesome. I loved Wonder Woman because it told a good story. And I thought, Gal Gadot was great in that film. But again, if you're not going to learn your lessons, then these are going to be the results. Again, they were all terrible. That's why. The lack of Wanda, Storm, Jean, and Rogue was really disappointing, but I'm going to remain hopeful for some surprising cameos. And that's what I'm thinking. I think there's going to be some cameos out of this. Bad views have been played in the past or how they generally were accepted or not. Comedy, She-Hulk killed the character interest for me. Captain Marvel, just look at how the Marvels went. Exactly. So, again, we can cry and moan about not having enough female representation, but at the end of the day, you have to look at the results. It just hasn't been good. And if Marvel is going to revitalize things and try to reboot stuff, then let's go in this direction. Now, I heard the Russo brothers, obviously they're back. They want to, reset stuff, but we do have Kevin Feige with his hands involved. Hopefully he doesn't micromanage and, limit their creativity and what they want to do with the direction of the Marvel universe, but we shall see. But I just don't get it. Why complain about this when we know in reality you want more representation? You want it to outweigh men. When in Marvel, your audience are men. Those are just the straight facts. The main characters and faces of the Marvel are men, and that's just how it goes. You can try to whine and moan and complain all you want. I just gave you good examples. Barbie is a female. Like, think about this. Imagine if the Barbie creator said, you know what, we're going to have men be, the initiative here when it comes to branding Barbie. Like, they're going to be at the top of everything, not Barbie anymore. How would you women feel? You probably wouldn't like that, right? So again, it's just common sense. It's like having women play in men's sports. Like, that would be dumb. Like, it would be ridiculous. I wouldn't watch that. Like, if they came and played the NBA, like, I've heard stories about this. It's dumb. Doesn't mean women aren't valuable. Don't get me wrong, they are. But let's just use common sense. That's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Love to hear your thoughts about how people are feeling about Avengers Doomsday and why some people are upset because of the lack of women representation in this upcoming film. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.